Assalamu alaikum, friends. Today, on April 14, 2024, the Indian nation celebrated the 133rd birth anniversary of revolutionary Dr. Baba Sahab Bhimrao Ambedkar. I think this is an opportune time to recall some aspects of Baba Sahab Bhimrao Ambedkar's life and his vision, his mission, his ideas, and his ideology, with which many of us are already familiar. So, in this video, I have two sections to discuss. First, who was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar? Second, what were the key aspects of Ambedkar's vision in his pursuit of social justice and equality? So, let us start with who was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is popularly known as Baba Sahab Bhimrao Ambedkar. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is rare combination of Indian politician, Indian jurist, independent India's first law and justice minister. He is also economist, philosopher, social reformer, great scholar, politician, activist, educator, statesman, and more importantly, a visionary leader and a revolutionary humanitarian. Significantly, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the defender of human rights. What are human rights? Human rights are those rights without which people cannot live with dignity, cannot live with respect. Human rights like right to life, right to liberty, right to property, right to pursuit of happiness, right to constitutional remedies, also right to freedom of religion. B.R. Ambedkar also supported the rights of labor and women in India. Furthermore, B.R. Ambedkar was the founding father of Indian Republic and the principal architect of the Indian Constitution and a defender of unity of India. More importantly and significantly, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was symbol of revolt against all oppressive, suppressive, discriminatory features of Indian society. So Ambedkar's name has come to be synonymous with social justice for the poor, social justice for downtrodden, social justice for exploited people, mainly and particularly Dalit community. That is why Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of independent India, considered Baba Sahib Ambedkar a symbol of revolt against oppressive futures of Hindu society. B.P. Gajendra Gatkar, the former Chief Justice of India, said, Ambedkar is the law maker of 20th century and modern Manu. But unlike old Manu, this new Manu, Ambedkar, favored human equality and social justice. In the words of late President of India, namely K.R. Narayanan, he said that Ambedkar was a compassionate rebel. In addition to this, as pointed out by Christopher Jefferlet in his book, the name of the book is Dr. Ambedkar and Untouchability, Analysis and Fighting Caste. He stated that Ambedkar, as an opponent of caste Hinduism and Advaita Buddhism as a method of release from Hindu social oppression. In addition to this, B.R. Ambedkar is also one of the few leaders from the pre-independence era who still continues to inspire millions of people in the globe, particularly in Indian country. So, Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, who was born on April 14, 1891 in Madhya Pradesh's Mahau. Ambedkar faced discrimination since childhood as he was born in a Mahar family, which was considered as one of the lowest or, in other words, untouchable castes in country at that time. He was the only member from his caste to enroll into the prestigious Elphinstone High School in Mumbai. During his school days, he faced oppression, suppression from the upper caste teachers and staff. He and his Dalit friends were not allowed to sit inside the classroom with other students. They were not allowed to drink water from the earth pot placed in the school, and the only peon who belonged to upper caste also used to pour water from a height for them to drink instead. And there were days when they had to spend without drinking water in absence of the peon. However, he overcomes those hurdles and went to Columbia University to complete his postgraduate studies. He later went to London School of Economics to complete his PhD thesis and finished two PhDs from there. He was also the first Indian pursue a doctorate in economics abroad. So it was on October 13, 1935, when he gave his shocking announcement of converting his religion in the coming time. At that time, Ambedkar said, I quote, I was born in Hinduism, but I will not die as a Hindu, unquote. Now coming into the second aspect of this presentation, main important aspect. What were the key aspects of Ambedkar's vision in his pursuit of social justice and equality? The first vision of Ambedkar is social equality. Ambedkar emphasized the eradication of caste-based discrimination and advocated for society where every individual, regardless of their caste or background, had equal rights and opportunities. For Ambedkar, Indian social and political history is nothing but a glorification of upper castes and degradation of lower castes and the lower strata of society. Ambedkar pointed out, I quote, caste is not just a division of labor, it is a division of labors, unquote. Vision number two, educational empowerment. Baba Sahib Bhimrao Ambedkar believed in the transformative power of education and saw it as a primary means to uplift marginalized communities like Dalits. Ambedkar advocated for widespread access to quality education, particularly for Dalits and other disadvantaged, marginalized sections of society. As Ambedkar argued that, I quote, cultivation of mind should be the ultimate aim of human existence, unquote. And he further states, quote, Be educated, be organized, and be agitated. Unquote. The number three vision of Ambedkar, political representation. Ambedkar championed the cause of political representation for marginalized communities, striving to ensure their voices were heard to governance and decision making process. Vision number four, annihilation of caste. One of the Ambedkar's seminal work, Annihilation of Caste, written in 1936. Ambedkar called for the complete eradication of caste system in India, which he viewed as the deeply rooted social evil hindering progress and justice. Ambedkar states that, I quote, the real remedy of breaking caste system is intermarriage. Nothing else will serve as the solvent of caste, unquote. Vision number five, that is women rights. Ambedkar was a staunch advocate for gender equality and women rights. He believed in empowering women through education, through social reform, and through legal protections, constitutional protections. And he played a significant role in drafting laws to improve women's status in Indian society. Ambedkar states that, I quote, I measure the progress of a community by the degree of progress which women have achieved, unquote. Idea number six, economic empowerment. Ambedkar recognized the importance of economic empowerment in achieving social justice. He advocated for policies that would uplift the economic status of marginalized communities and elevate poverty through land reforms, employment opportunities, and economic policies targeting the disadvantaged communities, Dalits, Adivasis. Now coming into the important idea of Ambedkar, that is secularism. Ambedkar strongly believed in the principles of secularism and the separation of religion from the state, from the politics. He believed a society where individuals had the freedom to practice their faith, freedom to practice their religion without facing discrimination or persecution. That is why Ambedkar states that, I quote, I like the religion that teaches liberty, equality, and fraternity, unquote. Ambedkar also pointed out in his last speech to the Constituent Assembly of India that, I quote, Bhakti in religion may be the road to salvation of the soul, but in politics, bhakti or hero worship is sure road to degradation and eventual dictatorship. Unquote. Idea number 8, that is human rights. Ambedkar was a fervent supporter of human rights and believed in the inherent dignity and equality of all individuals without any regard. He fought against social injustice such as untouchability, such as work towards and establishing a society based on the principles of equality, liberty, and fraternity. Idea number 9 of B.R. Ambedkar, that is constitutional democracy. As the chairman of drafting committee of the Indian Constitution, Ambedkar played an important role in shaping India's democratic framework. He proposed a healthy constitutional democracy that would safeguard the rights and freedom of all citizens irrespective of their background. Now coming into 10th idea of Ambedkar, that is social justice. At the core of Ambedkar's vision was pursuit of social justice. He advocated for policies and reforms aimed to eliminating discrimination, eliminating oppression, eliminating discrimination and inequality, and worked tirelessly to create a more just and equitable society for all the people. Therefore, in the end, we must remember that Ambedkar's thought challenged social inequality and educate empathy the oppressed classes so that a new India could be built on the foundations of equality, fraternity, and justice. Ambedkar will always remain relevant because of his perspective and critical consideration of Indian economic and social realities. He understood the causes behind the plight of most exploited and oppressed classes in India. So Ambedkar will also be relevant as long as concerns of the most disempowered sections of society remains unaddressed. He was and will always remain one of the pillars of Indian democracy and secularism. If we want to lead in social and political change, we must adhere to his teachings, like educate, agitate, and organize. That is the only way for empowerment of the downtrodden. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.